Welcome to the Predictive Playbook. I'm your host, John Ryan, and this is the first of a record breaking 6 shows I'm doing today on the Predictive Playbook, and I'm very glad of that because that must mean we're doing something good with the guests we're bringing on. They must be smart and intelligent, and no other guy I know knows more about Southern Cal sports than DJ Big Boss, and he's in the house early today, early his time. Because most of those Southern California folks, they're just laid back, relaxed, and if I get up by 10, I get up by 10. No big deal, right? So, DJ, welcome to the show. How are things going out there?
What up, though, John Ryan? Man, I'm gonna say that you
Yeah,
picked the
you can,
right
man.
one. You picked the right one to go first because I'm gonna get your energy going. Show number one's gonna be a wonderful place to be, and it's just gonna carry on through those 6 shows for you, John.
Appreciate it, DJ, very much. Because the last one, we tried to make like a pub atmosphere, East Coast style, where a bunch of guys get together and before they go home, have 2 pints, maybe 3 pints, and then go home. So it's all cool. So tell me what's going on out there. How are the Dodgers looking? Are the Clippers going to overtake the Lakers? The story with the Lakers and the AD. Anything you want to talk about? Let's get at it.
Oh man, top of my agenda that's been working for me in the West right now is I've been having a good look on the Lakers, man. Like, this whole little trip right here, beginning with the Nets, minus 9.5. I was on the other side telling folks, it was just outrageous. I think NBA bettors are starting to look more into who's not going to be playing opposed to who's actually going to be playing. And if you look at the Lakers core that's playing, they're about the same as like some of the lower end teams of NBA. Let's say the Timberwolves or something. Their lineup without AD, LeBron, is still something that's competitive. You know what I mean? So everybody's just diving in on the injury factor, and everybody jumped on the Nets. Minus 9.5. And what happens? The Lakers kill them. And then they came back the following night. They go across to the Knicks, right, where the Knicks is a better matchup to what the Lakers have without AD and LeBron. So the line, the bookie was honest. They kept the line at 2 and told you, hey, look, this is going to be an even matchup. You know what I mean? And everybody jumped again on the Lakers, thinking, oh, they just rolled off the Nets, and they did a good job, so they're going to carry that energy. The line's only 2. I'll buy in. And what happens? The Lakers lose. And then last night, it was my makeup. I said, look here, man. Lakers gonna find they're on a road trip now 3 times. They're gonna find somewhere to win. Maybe on the full game wasn't the spot, but I liked it first quarter and first half for them to get to win right there. So I've been winning with the Lakers right there, and I like that.
Great.
I've been kind of off the Clippers though. Not the Clippers. I just can't find their rhythm. I don't understand. It's a weird group of guys. I bet there's stuff going on in the locker room with that team. But
I
don't know.
I would think.
Yeah.
You can only wish that you were a fly on the wall in those situations to actually hear what is said, how it's said, even if it is said.
Exactly.
But there's something not quite right there. I played Indiana last night, DJ, and lost to those Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
It's those Clippers and your Lakers, right? That's how I'm supposed to say it for you?
No.
No, the other way around.
Wait. Do not get me confused in the world. I'm actually a Laker hater. I'm like one of the biggest haters. Like, I get it from all the guys. And I from being in LA, and everybody's like automatically a Laker fan. Oh, I get those shots. And, but I respect the Lakers. I'll tell you that. Kobe taught me through the years. I just couldn't stand that Shaq was just so dominant back in the days. And I learned to respect that, right? And then Kobe, on his own, I had to learn to respect Kobe. So I have much respect for the Lakers, but I'm always going to be a Laker fan. I just can't see myself in purple and gold.
It's pretty widely known Kobe's my man. He came from our neck of the woods, right out of high school, Lower Marion, and man alive.
Mm-hmm.
I could get started on that, and we'd probably get a polarizing topic going. But without mentioning names, that I do wish that there was players that that brought the load every single night, as we
Mhm.
saw with Kobe, with Jordan, with a lot of them. It's not just a handful of them. There's the guys that weren't the stars that were bringing their load every single day and doing the job. And it seems like some of the teams lose that. Uh, I do think the Sixers are one team that Doc Rivers, former coach of the Clippers, has heading in the right direction because they now, despite being so young, are learning to win on the road. They're learning to win on the road in difficult situations. And, I really, really like that the continuity, especially on the defensive end, led by Ben Simmons, who, people get tired of me talking about it because I do these, quite a few shows. But you know what? I don't get tired of talking about him because he's the guy that does bring the load. And, Rivers has used him in so many different ways. He can guard 1 through 5. And he held Giannis to, his first half low. I think it is a career, but Milwaukee scored 29 points in the first half in that game, in large part because of Simmons' lead. But Simmons is more used, and I think you'll see it if you ever watch a Sixers game, especially one that is going tonight, for example, where Rivers can use him two different ways. He can match him up against their best player, which has always been the case, but then he can use him to kind of roam around like a free safety in football does, and read the eyes of the ball handler. And he's so good in anticipating passing lanes. And, I guess he's number 3 in steals per game this year. And, after all, people don't realize he's like 6'10, 6'11. And you'd never see anybody challenge him with the dribble because he'll just go right around you. But anyway, that's my little take there. But with the Clippers on back-to-back nights, now they're favored by 9. I see against Detroit, which is a team that is really. I don't want to use the word tanking, but they're looking for the lottery pick to start rebuilding. Do you think the Clippers, from what you've read and seen out there in the West Coast, can they go back to back and
Oh,
win?
they absolutely could go back to back, man. It's just laying points with the Clippers. Sometimes it's just a simple thing to do, and then sometimes you got to sweat them out. And I don't know, being a long time handicapper, man, sweating it out is not always that bad though. I mean, that's what you in the game for.
Yeah,
That's where you get that. There's your high right there. But of course, we love it when we make a great play that's just so far, good that you could just relax and have a couple beers before the game is over. You got this one. But when you land big numbers, it's a little different, especially in basketball because of the free throw factor and all that kind of stuff. So you could be up by 20 and still have to sweat it out in the last 2 minutes, by a half a point and stuff like that. So, I'm not a fan of laying those big ones like that, man. When it comes to large favorites in NBA basketball, I suggest people that consider large money line parlays because you could get a lot of
yep.
you can get a lot of good favorite teams in NBA to actually win, especially around this time of the year because you're going into playoffs. I mean, all the book can do is set a line between it because they already know what side it's going to go on. So, not a lot of shockers here and there. So money line parlays, if you're into them, and you can figure out how to put it together to have some good value to it, I'm all for it.
Those are my favorite to do in baseball when I have two dogs. Between one plus 150 plus 180. It's arguably the most favorite bet that I ever do. I did look up the Clippers on back-to-back nights. In the 2020 season, they actually lead the NBA. They're 9-1 straight up and against the spread. Pretty impressive, covering by an average of 7 points per game. So whether they go to 10-1, who knows? But they know how to win back-to-back nights. So that's very impressive.
Yeah, so that's the look on that one. But let's jump over to them Dodgers, man, because the Dodgers are blazing over there, man. So Mookie I had first inning no score last night. I thought they was gonna tighten up for this game. Of course it was Bauer Day. I was looking for I don't like that the lines are so inflated because they're doing so well. It's hard to find a
Yep.
spot that makes any sense to play. If you like me, I don't really like playing too far past maybe 140, depending on what's going on. But so to find a line, and then when you start paying that, and the run line's 2.5 and stuff like that, it's like it's distasteful, to even be involved. You feel some kind of way that you're bending your back to try to find that spot. So always could just go with a first half over under. That's always a safe bet right
Yep.
there. But last night I had the no hit, no score first inning, and because this guy pitched against the Dodgers the time before, he let up two in the first, two in the second. So I figured he'd come back and say, you know what, I'm gonna close them cheeks up a little bit, and he went out there and let up two in the first again. So you know, after that, Mookie came in, made it even worse. So Dodgers is rolling. With Mookie back, they got the bats back.
Yep.
Um, you know, Honestly, in baseball, you're really supposed to continue to follow the trend. So if you like what the Dodgers are doing, you got to go find the spot to take them again tonight and take them. But I think that a lot of LA teams, you'll see them when they do well, they have these weird nights because there's a lot going on in LA. You know these people that come here, some of them are just picked to come here, but some of them that choose to come here, are excited for all the bells and whistles that has to go with living in LA near Hollywood. And you don't know what these guys are coming from. They might have did 10 commercials in the morning. They might have
That's
had to
true.
do whatever. Luckily, they're on the road, but still, these guys are still involved with those things, man. They still, you know, got big houses to take care of and all that kind of stuff. So you could get a night out of them where they just fall off. So I think with Gray on the mound tonight, if you're looking for value, maybe just for a half a unit or something, drop a little something on the Rockies, maybe to pull something off. But if you want to be more aggressive and they play at the end of the night, find you a good spot on there where you can sink in. Maybe Dodgers first half, run line, which is
Yep.
probably a half a point. You probably get some good value out of that. Parlay some bets from earlier into that, and you can have a good time watching the game tonight.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot, and I also like the fact that you leaning towards Colorado. If they would score first, and say they get a two spot in the first or the second, that money line is going to come down a lot. So that's something I've been watching. Because I've been, with my Wall Street background, the in-game trading is in my wheelhouse, and
Hmm.
nowhere is it better than the NBA. NCAA tournament was a blast. I don't even think I told you this. I actually took Oral Roberts when they were playing Ohio State. Minute 20
Nice.
to go. I was actually pre-stage, like we do for the shows, right, with Rob Vino. And all of a sudden I go, oh my God. And he goes, what's wrong? And I said, right now, minute 20 to go, Ohio State has a 2-point lead, and the line was minus 1,000. So you had to lay
Wow.
1,000 to win 100. So you know
Wow.
me, my eyes went right to the dog, and I go, oh my God, plus 625. And then I was trying to figure out, well, I mean, is this like double pizza money here? Just because Oral Roberts is the best free throw shooting team in the country.
Right.
So I did like a pizza and a half. But those are the type of in-game bets that if you're just watching and paying attention, even if it's one game, they're going to come to fruition. And I think tonight, I don't think there's any line for if Colorado scores first, but if there was, that's tempting. But more tempting is if the Dodgers get down 2-0 and you can get the money line at about minus 140. I would think it would come down maybe even lower than that. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that. The Dodgers are 9-2. They're 4-0 at home, 5-2 on the road. They plus 30 differential, won 4 in a row, 9 of the last 10. But the San Diego Padres are right on their heels, only a game and a half back after losing their last game, which meant that They obviously were within half a game. And this is the team that people do talk about having a chance, and it's a California team along with the Giants. Giants are 7-4, but their run differential is only +3. Granted, it's a small sample size, so you can't really draw much conclusion there. But just briefly, do you think the Padres actually can push the Dodgers? Which would keep them more focused, and then maybe that leads them to a 110 game season.
All right, I'm gonna have to unleash some special seasonings on this one. So I have some beliefs over here on how these West Coast sports go. So the Dodgers are the big brothers to the Padres, right?
Yep,
And the Dodgers and the Giants are really bad enemies. Those two don't get along.
makes sense.
So the Padres, they're right there in between, and they're the little brother. So I don't think that we'll let them get too far ahead of us, but it's nice to have them right up under us.
Yeah, at least there'll be, I think, some competition for at least
At
till the
least
All
it's
Star
not the
break.
Giants. At least it's not the Giants
Yep,
coming at us. At least it's not the Rockies coming. I mean, like, if we have to go an hour and a half drive up the street to go, chastise them a little bit, then little brother would get back in
yep,
line and let us do our thing.
yep.
Because I mean,
Well said.
but but at the same time, you can't say that in no way, shape, or form. You can't say that the Dodgers don't have an awesome team. They don't have the talent hired in them and all that. But just for fun and games and how it really goes in my special seasoning, um, that's how it is. That's little brother right there. They're not going to do too much to us. So we're not really worried about that. But that was one of the games I wanted to talk about. Kind of like the pitching matchup tonight. They bring out Musgrove, and he's going
Yeah,
up against Tyler Anderson. I think that could be a good spot on the map for a first five under right there. Even though Padres bats can heat up here and there, but sometimes they can play the infield game. They can pitch at you. I like what the Padres are doing over there. They got multiple styles of play that you never know which one is really going to come out. But when you consider Musgrove on the ground, you got to expect. I don't know if you're, let's say you're a batter, and that's what you do. Musgrove's on the mound. Do you feel like, hey, do I want to go back good for this guy today, or I'm gonna just let him work it out and keep us in the game?
yeah. That's a good. I'm just bringing up the pitching info here. Head to head and all that good stuff. Let me get the pitching stuff here. It's interesting. The line is so high. Pittsburgh is not a good team. Um, it's unfortunate that franchise used to be the premier franchise in baseball ways back, but now is certainly a doormat to say the least.
Now
In
I don't
the
know. I don't know exactly what the Padres hit against lefties, but with Tyler Anderson on the mound, they're offering a lefty. Now the book is already telling you that the total is low, so they're already expecting this one to be a low one. So they did have to work for us. I think that after that, you just have to go ahead and seal the deal and take that under first five. I'm really leaning towards that. Now Tyler Anderson, this guy has had two bad starts, but he gave up 3 runs in each of them. He got in what is this? Five innings both times. Both were losses. So he's looking for a win. So he may pitch well early. So I like to jump in this one and jump out whenever you got some nice great pitchers playing. It's a spot where we can ball.
what do you think about Musgrove coming off the no hitter? Because a lot of times it
I
is
mean,
hard to for those guys to pitch after a
how
no hitter.
it is, but how can you not take them? And like I talked about earlier in baseball, you have to roll with the trend. Like you don't
Yep.
get paid out a lot going against what's going on. You know, this guy's gonna get on the mound. He's gonna attempt to have a good time. Maybe they touch him early. I mean, maybe you find some good value. They might get one, but I think his guys play back and they definitely come home with the win. But I don't know if you really think he's going to come out there and put his best effort forward, then I think the best spot might be Padres first five. But if you're expecting a nice little pitching match again, at least maybe he gets touched a little later, then we can game right there depending on what we get on that first five.
Yeah, it's usually, with no hitters, it's usually like two or three starts out from the no hitters where you get the clunker. So you know he's in tremendous form. Obviously, threw the no hitter against Texas. For those that don't remember, uh, 5 days ago, 10 strikeouts, no walks, and not taking anything away from him, but Texas is not a good team. But still, you throw a no hitter. I don't care if it's in high school. It's still a no hitter, and that's something to be commemorated and celebrated for sure. But I think in this case they'll probably keep an eye on the pitch count. He gets up near in the 90s, they'll probably relieve him, but that should be around the fifth inning. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gives up maybe one earned run through five.
Yeah, he could give up one. I could see that.
He's just pitching too well to. I mean, when you have confidence in baseball, you have everything.
Yeah, I
And
mean
if you don't have that, you're gonna get you're just gonna get hammered. I mean, that's how it is.
and baseball is also a game of mechanics and skill. So you don't know what this guy's been working on the off season. Whatever it was, is working.
Yeah.
So if he continue to do his skill and continue to practice his mechanics, he should be fine. So
Yep.
definitely like Musgrove in this one right here. But I got one for you. Maybe this is a little closer to home back there, and that's in this Atlanta and Miami series right here. I'm looking at this series right here. I believe Atlanta's up 2-0 in this one. We're going in the
Yep.
third. I believe it's a 4-game series right here. I think Atlanta's going to sweep them. I don't know what you can get at this point in a sweep, but I think they're going to sweep them because Atlanta, they had a rough start. Uh, it didn't come together, but they started against some. We talked about the last show. They did start against some good competition, but I think they got the ball rolling now, and I think that we're looking at a sweep against Miami. I don't think some of these Florida teams are going to do well outside of Florida. I mean, Florida is thriving so great right now. It's got to be lovely to play at home, and almost like you're missing something to go play on the road. So I think they sit down and Atlanta put it to them. What you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think. See, I like Miami's young pitching, like Alcantara, Lopez are really good young pitchers, but Miami doesn't have the bats to support it anymore. They once did. That guy's hitting home runs for the Yankees now. But I was looking here. Miami. Not to correct you, but Miami actually has won the first two of this series, and they have Neidert going up against Charlie Morton. So maybe I was misunderstanding, but if you think Atlanta's going to win the last two of the 4-game series, then yeah, I can see them coming back pretty hard. And after all, the National League East is, we said in the NFL show, the NFC East, at least, I mean. And there's not one team in the National League right now that's outscoring their opponents. The Phillies took the early season lead in the standings, which means nothing, but they got swept by the Mets yesterday in a doubleheader. So now the Mets and them are essentially in a dead heat. And then the Nationals, I have no clue what. I can't get my hands around it. 2-6, getting outscored by 18 or more runs. Strasburg, I think, pitched last night and got shelled. So the word through the media was that Strasburg really had taken it to another level than past years. So it was kind of mind blowing to see him come out and pitch that poorly. But it's chemistry, right? Right, DJ? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
if you don't have that even now, it's going to be exposed. And if anybody has chemistry, it's the Reds. Right now, that team is averaging 6.9 runs a game, best in the majors, and pretty dangerous. And when you score that many runs, you don't really have to have that stellar pitching that like the Dodgers have both. They both have starting pitching. They have a bullpen. They have hitters galore, top to bottom. Nobody really matches up with them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Marlins are intriguing because they probably win 60 games. But at the same time, they're so young that if they would ever like put it together and maybe they have two future All Star players hanging out in there somewhere in that lineup, maybe they could win 70. But I guess if I was going to play like a futures bet win total, I would whatever that is right now, I would consider the over in that because I think with that pitching, uh, yeah, they're really going to get blown out. But to your point, DJ, they're not a team that's going to win the National League East.
Yeah, I did read that one wrong, man. I don't know what I'm thinking this morning, but
I do it all the time, so don't worry about it.
my point to it is that this, and then I would agree that they probably do well because they're going to play well at home.
Yep.
And this one they're doing well away from home right now, which is great. But I don't see no sustainability in that with them being such a young team and having to play on the road. When you're young, you got to learn how to pack. You got to learn how to ride. You got to learn how to fly. You got to get along with the fellas. You gotta do all those type of different things. So I don't see no longevity in that. But I see when they play at home, that's going to be wonderful because everything is thriving in Florida. They're in Miami. I mean, I've been out there to the stadium. It's a nice stadium. Nice little crowd and everything
Yep.
comes through there. So yeah, and it's profitable if you really look at it from a business perspective. So it's a profitable organization right here. So I do like it in the long run right there. But I am looking to fade them when they're on the road. And today they did get away with two against Atlanta. So I'm looking to back Atlanta today coming in there.
Yeah, I like that play, DJ, because Atlanta, even though they're 4-7, that it's a marathon. They got 150 games to go for goodness sake. I wouldn't panic if I was a Braves fan, and if anything, I would probably start backing them. Especially they're on a 3-game losing streak. Are they going to lose all four? Not likely.
Right.
Not likely at all. It's more likely that series goes 2-2 and they move on to the next one.
Yeah, but
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 those
back.
two pitchers, like the Marlins, I guess for the listeners, in my opinion, when you get say plus 150 and higher money on Alcantara and Lopez back to back, I think that's actually a play to consider. They're not going to go 2-0 like they just did, but even if they go 1-1, you still have a profit.
Yeah,
And
especially at this part of the series.
yeah, yep,
But back to what I was saying about Atlanta. Like you said, if you're an Atlanta fan, don't panic because look at the competition that they've been faced against is still thick, man. Like you said,
yep.
Alcantara and Lopez. Maybe more they had got a break. Eflin is a tough guy. Wheeler's a tough guy. Strasburg, Schrader. They play
Aaron
some tough
Nola,
They play some
yep.
some tough people. They not just been going losing to these whatever guys. So I think they do have a higher ceiling than maybe we think for the rest of the season. But I don't know. I kind of tend to like the Braves. I always have. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a little biased, but that's where I'm
No, I
at
think
with it
they'll.
today.
I think they'll end up winning the National League East. It's hard to tell right now because they played each other, to your point, so many times already. So this thus far that they could be just beating each other up, similar to what the Big Ten did to each other in college basketball
Yeah,
and football.
exactly.
So again, it's 150 games to go yet, plus for many of these teams, and there's a lot to be learned yet. But the one single fact is that the Dodgers are the premier team right now, and there's no reason to expect that they won't be, looking for that repeat. You know,
I mean, I would say reevaluate the Dodgers come September and see if you still aboard the same way. But for now, you can't really go against them. But I went way past my time. I've been having so much fun
oh,
with you, John. I enjoy
yeah,
the opportunity just coming in here, man. I
you
appreciate you.
got it.
Make sure
Sorry, I
y'all
forgot
give me
about
a
your time stop there, but
yeah, I forgot
you're right.
too.
Yeah, it's all
But
good.
make
So
sure y'all follow me on Twitter, man. I got the MLB contest weekly. You can hop in there, have some fun, try out some best strategies and all that good stuff. But mess with me, man. I really got to go, John.
yeah, you got it, man. So thank you, DJ, for being on the show, and for him and myself and the Predictive Playbook. May all the wins be yours.